So, a few weeks ago, the Video Game Awards put together the nominees for Game of the Year. So, as you can see here on screen, we have Alan Wake 2, Baldur's Gate 3, Marvel Spider-Man 2, Resident Evil 4, Super Mario Bros. Wonder, and The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. Now, this created a lot of backlash, with a lot of people saying that there was some kind of bias against Xbox, which they colloquially quoted as the Xbox tax. Okay, so first, before we get into it, I want to talk a little bit about how you can know what a Game of the Year caliber game is. What is the litmus test? And for me, it's very simple. Take, for example, let's say you have a friend. This friend could have been a gamer of a long time ago that stopped playing games, maybe let's say 3, 4, 5+ years ago, or it could be someone that has never really looked at gaming seriously. They always think that it's for children, or they imagine, Super Mario like N64 days, or they imagine that it's just like Street Fighter, or they imagine that it's just some violent kind of like witless endeavor, like hobby. They don't understand it. And here's the thing, okay? What you want to do is you want to enlighten this person as to understanding that the gaming medium not only has evolved way beyond whatever they could think, the wildest imaginations, but also that it could, even for them, okay, no matter how skeptical they may be, even for them, offer a genuinely fantastic experience. Something that might even convert them into becoming a gamer, if only for the length of that particular game, okay? Now, here's what you're going to do. Whatever game you would offer up, like, hey, you don't believe in video games, let me offer you this one game here. This game here, that has to be Game of the Year quality at the minimum. That's simple. That is the litmus test for if a game is Game of the Year. So whenever I want to ask yourself, should something be considered as a Game of the Year, whether that's for you or just for the general mass audience, ask yourself, is this game worthy enough that if somebody came up to me and was like, hey, Emmanuel, I do not know if I like this gaming thing, what is the best that they have to offer? You will be like, okay, what sort of things do you like? And then depending on their response, if they're like, okay, I love watching horror movies, you might nominate, let's say, Alan Wake 2. If they say, I want a deep system, like I love playing Dungeons and Dragons, well, then obviously you will nominate Baldur's Gate 3. Now, if they said that they love horror, you could also have nominated Resident Evil 4. But you see, like, these games, like, as soon as you think about it, it becomes so clear in your mind that, hey, if a person truly was like, hey, you know what? I don't know if gaming is for me. These games are great enough for you to nominate and say, these are games that you play. Now, of course, this person does not care which year these games came from, right? So if we look at, for example, past Game of the Year nominees, so maybe we take a look at past Video Game Awards GOTY nominees. Sorry, doing it on the fly. But we might take a look at this list over here. So first of all, we can take a look at the overall list, right? So we can see here Dragon Age Inquisition, The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt, Overwatch, The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, God of War, Sekiro Shadows Die Twice, The Last of Us Part 2, It Takes Two, and Elden Ring. Now, you see here that we mostly have action adventures and RPGs, right? That's most of the list there. So that's obviously clearly well represented because I think most people enjoy action adventure and RPG style games. They just do. Okay, now if you were to dig further into each nominee, you will see that no matter which year you're looking for, again, depending on what the person is into, like if a person is a racer, you should probably offer them a Gran Turismo 7. Like it just depends on what they already like from other medium and from other entertainment. But here's the thing, if a person is a racer, you're probably not going to offer them just like any willy-nilly Need for Speed. You know what I mean? Like, yes, there are some Need for Speed that are great, but a lot of them are not great. Okay, obviously then you kind of look, race is a niche category, so I guess you look into the racing category for nominees that year. But point is, Game of the Year overall, that's what it's about, right? So you take a look over here at all of these games, like Uncharted 4, clearly action adventure, clearly storytelling, Breath of the Wild, what a fantastic masterpiece, especially if that person already has the Switch or has somebody in the household that owns the Switch. It's really hard to go past that. But even here, Horizon Zero Dawn, PUBG, in case they love shooting things, Super Mario Odyssey, because guess what, there are lots of gamers that still love Nintendo style games. They're just like, look, I grew up. Well, my brothers used to play Mario. So what are the modern ones like? So of course you'll be looking at Super Mario Wonder, Super Mario Odyssey, so on and so forth. Persona 5, again, just such a wonderful JRPG. If a person says, man, I really love anime, and who doesn't? Like, people who there's a great correlation between video gamers and anime lovers and anime watchers and manga and everything like that. So it's like Persona 5 would be fantastic, but you can go year after year after year, and these are the best examples, not just of the year, but what the medium as a whole is able to accomplish, like what gaming itself is able to put out. Because imagine if there was someone, it could even be you, who doesn't really watch movies. Like, they don't watch films, they don't go to the movies, they don't keep up with movies, they just do not care about cinema. But then they have a movie lover, like a person who is a really big cinephile, and they were like, okay, fine, you know what, give me 4 movies, okay? And then they would give them some direction, like, oh, you know what, I really love movies with like awesome sound or like awesome stories, or I really like movies that most people wouldn't even know about, like give me the hidden gems. And guess what that person is going to do? They're going to go find out the Game of the Year equivalent of movies, and then they're going to present that to them. So I say all of that to say this. Game of the Year games are so great, so amazing, so spectacular in the way that they stand out, that not only do you not have to play them personally to know about them, but you don't even have to like them. They don't even have to be for you, but you can still recognize the greatness in them. There are plenty of people that don't like The Last of Us Part 2, and yet they will not deny that The Last of Us Part 2 is a special game. They might not like it for the gameplay, they might not like it for the story. Most of them don't like it for the story because they don't understand, good writing, but whatever, But the point is, most people won't deny it, You take a look at a game like Hades, Animal Crossing, Doom Eternal, Ghost of Tsushima. These are all games that they just represent the upper echelon of what humanity has been able to achieve when it comes to video games. That's basically it. Those are the Game of the Year nominees. So, all of that you said, just like you don't need to play every single Game of the Year nominee to look at it and recognize the greatness within because it shines so brightly, you also don't need to play every other game that's been released throughout the year to be able to look at the game and be like, yeah, that does not deserve a Game of the Year nomination. And I'm just going to say, Starfield never deserved a Game of the Year nomination. It wasn't even close. It never, ever, even if they had expanded this to 12 games, it never belonged anywhere near this podium. Not even close. It shouldn't even get a whiff. A whiff. It shouldn't even get a whiff of Game of the Year. It is such... Okay, I'm going to be nice. Okay, so I'm just gonna say it's garbage. Okay, it's just garbage. It's fucking awful. Okay, that's me being nice. But yeah, so it doesn't belong here. But it brought us the controversy of the Xbox tax. Now, I didn't want to talk about this because I don't really like talking about Xbox, because I made a tweet earlier that said, listen, for me, I genuinely feel Xbox is in a different lane. Okay, Xbox is that trash garbage pie lane that I'm not particularly interested in. And when you're not particularly interested in something, it's a little bit weird to just keep talking about it. But I am interested in the community, and I am interested in what the community thinks, and that's why I do this. That's why I'm on the podcast with Porter Rock. That's why I like talking about video games, because it's the community aspect that I was missing. That's why I started talking about games. So the community has proposed this whole Xbox tax, clearly from one side of the community. And the basic idea is that points are deducted, credit is withheld from games that are deserving of more simply because they happen to be associated, whether exclusively or through ownership, to the Xbox brand. And that's dumb. It's dumb because it doesn't exist. And it's dumb because it's also disingenuous in that PlayStation games or PlayStation affiliated games are judged far more harshly by everybody because the bar is so high. Every single game is held up against a Last of Us, a God of War, a Horizon. Even the sequels to those own series, like The Last of Us Part 2 was held up against The Last of Us Part 1. God of Ragnarok was held up against God of War, 2018. And Horizon Forbidden West was held up against Horizon Zero Dawn, as well as every other player in the field, especially if they're similar. Like, so many people wanted to convince you that Horizon was a failure because it did not match the numbers that Zelda did. Even though Zelda is a legendary legacy IP with lots of momentum behind it. And I will remind you, Horizon Zero Dawn and the Horizon franchise is still brand new. Like, it only came out in what, 2017? It is still new. It's only 6 years old compared to a Titan in Zelda. It wasn't fair. But you do not complain about it because that is the reality. If PlayStation Studios are going to call themselves as the upper echelon of gaming, then guess what? It's only fair for everybody else to look at everybody else that they consider to be at the upper echelons of gaming and be like, how do you stack up next to that? Horizon Zero Dawn should have been compared to Zelda. Horizon Forbidden West should be compared to every other RPG or RPG-like elements in action-adventure, whatever you want to define it. I'm not here to debate with you on that. But the point is, it should be held up against that. It should be held up against Elden Ring. Because guess what? When you are competing for the top spot, you're going to have a lot of people gunning after you. And if you fall short, that should be called out. That's perfectly fine. So PlayStation games, as a whole, are treated with far more of a critical eye, far more of a critical nature than Xbox games are. Because let's face it, Xbox has been dog shit. Xbox has barely been mediocre. Like they've barely reached mediocre. Like you look at Hi-Fi Rush and that thing is it's above average. It is their breakout success. Hi-Fi Rush is the most successful Xbox has been. It also puts out a quality title that people love since Cuphead, I think, or no, since what is that? Ori and the Blind Forest and Ori and the Will of the Wisps. Like, that's how long it's been. And you see the kind of games that those are. They are smaller, double A in nature. You know, they offer amazing experiences, but they really offer you like these specific experiences that are kind of like, that kind of you decide, you know, whether they're side scrollers or they are rhythm games. They're kind of really good in their element, but that element is in the big boy category. It's a bit like, really, really being good at, I don't know, throwing marbles or something. Like, you know, those marble games, those games you can play with marbles. It's like you could be really, really good at that, but it's not really being good at poker or being good at golf. You know, like people care a lot more about poker and they care a lot more about golf than they do about whether you can win some marble game. Or, you know, that lone game, you know, the lone balls that they throw. Like, imagine you're really good at playing those lone balls. It's like fantastic. There's people that really, really like that and they really enjoy the sport and they will watch it all day. But guess what most people are going to watch? Basketball, football, tennis. We're not chucking tennis in there. People love tennis. So the point is this. While Xbox has had tremendous success in smaller fields that are really specific to their thing, and they're great, I'm not going to take anything from that. The big boy categories, the action adventure genre, the RPG genre, the cinematic, the storytelling, the attention to detail, they have been lacking. And yes, you're going to say Gears 5. It's always Gears 5. Yeah. Gears 5 was mediocre. It was average. It is what it is. You might have enjoyed it. Could be your game, it's fine. But it was mediocre to the public eye. Gears 5 is not a game that anyone's going to pull out and be like, yeah, you get into gaming because you play Gears 5. It's never going to convert anyone. It's a nice to have, and it's fine. It's like a Forspoken, okay? It's a nice to have if you want it. It's fine. It's fine. And yes, it could be better than Forspoken for you, but it's still in the same realm as the Forspoken. It's like, get that out. It's not a Game of the Year contender. It's fine. Just put it to the side. So, the point is this. The Xbox tax is completely false. And it subverts reality because, in reality, Nintendo and PlayStation receive far more of a critical eye and a critical judgment than Xbox does. Because for Xbox, the bar is so low. But the point of this video isn't to convince you that the Xbox tax is real. You know what? It's like flat Earth. If you believe the Earth is flat, despite all evidence to the contrary, you can have it. The point of this is to talk about this, okay? In the wake of the Xbox tax gaining popularity and gaining momentum, for Xbox fans, they accuse quite heavily the entire media of extreme bias. Not only did they accuse the entire media, they accused the entire community. And this is where I come in, because I don't care about the media. They can all be accused of whatever. But the point is this. This is the player's voice. And over here, as you can see, there are 30. Okay, there are 30 nominees over here for the Player's Voice Award. Okay, and we're just gonna go quickly through them, but we start at Alan's Wake. This is all in alphabetical order. We hit Baldur's Gate 3 there. We've got Cyberpunk, Phantom Liberty, Final Fantasy 16, there's Diablo 4, there's Lies of P, there's Marvel Spider-Man 2, there's League of Legends, there's Hogwarts Legacy, something that got extremely snubbed from the Game of the Year conversation or any award other than this one. So be weird. There's Hi-Fi Rush for those Xbox fans. There's Resident Evil 4, so on and so forth. And here is Starfield. The game of the game du jour, you know, the talk of the town. The game that was so trash and yet was hyped so much by people on the Xbox side that it is a colossal disappointment beyond the fact that it is in itself a colossal disappointment. So here it is. And guess what you get to do for the Player's Voice? We as a community get to vote for the first round up to 10 games. So you don't have to pick just one. This is so interesting because if you were forced to, people could make the claim that, okay, because they only have one vote, they would rather pick one of these other games that, while they might have enjoyed Starfield, they will pick these other games because they were overall a little bit stronger, right? You'll be forced to make a decision between Starfield or something else. But no, you don't get to pick just one game, or two games, or three, but 10. You get to pick 10 games. So that means that most of us, first of all, have not played 10 out of 30 games. Like, out of these 30 games, you would have to be an exceptionally active gamer to even play more than 10 in a year. So that gives you plenty of options. You know, for me, for example, what did I play this year? Nothing in the first row there because I don't play horror games. I don't like Apex Legends because I don't have any friends to play with. It's fine. I'm not interested in Armored Core. Baldur's Gate 3 I get you next year. Counter-Strike 2 never. Cyberpunk Phantom 27. They lied about the game and I'm so pissed at them, so they can fuck right off. Destiny 2 not interested. Diablo 4 don't play any horror games and I'm not interested. Final Fantasy 16 they don't have black people in it, so I'm not going to play it. Fortnite that's for children. Genshin Impact that's for children with parents' money. GTA Online that's a whole lot. I don't even want to go there. Hi-Fi Rush, no, I don't have an Xbox, to be fair. I could play it on PC, I suppose, but also I'm not interested in rhythm based games because I have played other rhythm games and I just suck at them. I don't enjoy them at all. Hogwarts Legacy I have played, so is that the first one? That's crazy. That is crazy. I am behind. To be fair, I've been playing my backlog, so it's fun. Honkai Star is like Genshin Impact, so not interested. League of Legends, definitely not. Like keyboard and mouse, ew. Lies of P, don't play any horror games. This is a Souls-like game, and I just want to say a quick thing about Souls-like. They bore me. And it's not the difficulty, it's the fact that I don't have a story to be sucked in. And I tried the demo for this, I enjoyed it, but then I also felt like the story was just going to be threadbare. And I'm like, if you don't give me characters to care about, I don't want to play your game. Like, I don't mind getting good. I've played some hard games. I played some games on the highest difficulty, and I don't mind losing. Like, I really, really don't. I don't mind the grind to get better. But if you don't give me a story to compel me, yeah, I don't care. Marvel Spider-Man 2. This is the second one I've played. Is it just number 2? Oh, wow. That's crazy. Wow, seriously, missing out. Minecraft. Please. Mortal Kombat 1. No, haven't played it. Don't play fighting games. I'm terrible at them. I know it. It's fine. No Man's Sky, not that interested. It's procedural generation, and again, it doesn't have a story. So I'm like, why? Why am I going to spend hundreds of hours in a universe and I don't care for it? Like, Octopath Traveler 2, I might play next year. You know, like the people say that's good. You know, I'm interested. Resident Evil 4, I don't play horror games. They can do that for other people. I love it for you guys. You guys have fun. Star Wars Jedi Survivor. Star Wars. Here's the thing about Star Wars. It's not as good as people say it is. I don't mean just Jedi Survivor. I mean the whole franchise. Like Star Wars isn't that good. But it does have great moments. Star Wars is so interesting because I always feel like they should just start over. Like the whole universe, the whole canon. They should just Start fresh from the beginning, get rid of every single expectation, just reboot the entire franchise, not have to retread the same beats, but like start with the universe and then tell new stories within that universe without having to deal with the continuity that they're currently stuck in. Because you have characters like Cal Kestis over here. I played the first game, by the way. You have this character who can't really do much to affect the entire like nature of everything because it doesn't fit in the continuity. And look, as far as the games go, okay, if you don't agree with my film take, as far as the games go, I just wish that they would just create their own version, their own universe of Star Wars, their own with their own continuity. Yes, they could use the same characters. Yes, they could have the same moments, but then it would allow them to actually change and affect the story in a significant way. A bit like Marvel Spider-Man. Like Marvel Spider-Man is its own universe. It's its own part of the Spider-Verse. It doesn't have to abide by any rules or any constraints of any other like comic book continuity. Like that's it, it's its own world. I wish they would do that for Star Wars projects. I wish it would just be like, hey, you know what, you may recognize these characters, but in this timeline this happened differently, or in this timeline Cal Kestis exists, therefore that other event didn't happen the same way, therefore Luke Skywalker never became a Jedi, you know, things like that. I just think it would be so much more interesting if they did that for both the film and the TV, so for both the games and the TV episodes. Just like we could explore parts of the universe. Like I don't know, the multiverse idea is so common in media now that I don't think anyone will kind of like blink twice. They would just be like, yeah, this is the main canonical universe and then this is just like a side story. I think there'd just be so much more freedom. In any case, all of that is to say I haven't played Jedi Survivor yet, not only because I'm not that interested in Star Wars games, but also because it was buggy at launch. And listen guys, I don't support games that are overly buggy and just like, nah. It's better now, so I'll play next year or something. I don't fucking know. Starfield. I haven't played it because it's garbage, and I could tell from the trailer. Get mad. Street Fighter 6. I played the demo, and the demo reaffirmed that I am awful at fighting games, but I really love the theme music, so that was great. Super Mario Bros. Wonder and Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. I haven't played either of these, not because I'm not interested, but because I hate the Switch. I truly, affectionately, deeply hate the Switch. And I don't hate the Switch because I hate the fact that it exists. I hate the Switch because I hate how it exists. I hate the form factor. I hate the fact that it only gives you like 29 frames per second on your best day and like 12 frames per second on its worst. Like I played Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild on the Switch. I forced myself through 100 and plus hours of it. I think it was 115 hours. And then after I put it down, even though I had the Pro controller and I was using it docked, I just hated the performance. I hated the graphics. I hated the fact that it just technologically wasn't there. So I would like a Switch, a proper like console, like PlayStation 5 level, PlayStation 6 level, like fuck it, like skip, leapfrog what PlayStation 5 can do for Nintendo. Then I would love the games, I am sure. Valorant I do not play because, like if I wanted to spend $400 just to get like a skin, I think I would just clothe myself, it's just like that's what I would do. Okay, and then Warframe I tried, but I don't have any friends that want to play with me, so that didn't go far. So I think out of this entire thing here, I only played 2 or 3 games at the most. But here's the thing, like I was telling you before, for a game of the year caliber game, you don't have to personally play it to recognize the gem. Okay, yes, maybe you haven't touched it, maybe you haven't experienced it, but you look at it and you know it is special. Game of the year caliber games are like, they're like seeing that girl across the bar. You look at her, you haven't yet spoken to her, but as soon as you look something, your intuition just kicks in and you're like, go find out what that's about. Go talk to her because you know she's special. So all of that is to say this. Xbox fans had every opportunity to vote however they wanted. So had every community. And where did all of that lead us? Well, it led us to, oh, by the way, here are my picks. I've got Alan Wake, I've got Baldur's Gate, I've got Final Fantasy 16. I forgave them. I mean, I had to get a 10, so whatever. Hogwarts, Lies of P, Marvel Spider-Man 2, No Man's Sky, Resident Evil 4, Street Fighter 6, and The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. So those are my 10. If I were to get rid of any, I will get rid of Final Fantasy 16, and I will probably put Super Mario's Wonder. But I did play the demo of Final Fantasy 16 and I loved it, so that's why it gets there. All of that is to say this. here is the result, okay? This has only been a few hours, but here is how things are stacking up right now. And as you can see here, we have number 1, Baldur's Gate 3. Number 2, Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. Number 3, we have Cyberpunk Phantom Liberty. Number 4, Marvel Spider-Man 2. Number 5, Resident Evil 4. Number 6, Alan Wake 2. As you can see, when the community got to vote, they chose 5 out of the 6 games for Game of the Year the exact same way as the voting panel. The only game that is different here is Cyberpunk 2077 Phantom Liberty, and in the Game of the Year conversation, it got swapped out for Resident Evil 4. Now, Resident Evil 4, sorry, not for Resident Evil 4, sorry, it got swapped out for Super Mario Bros. Wonder, which is number 11 according to the gamers, right? So that's a bit far down the list, right? You could make a claim there. Now, Cyberpunk 2077 Phantom Liberty should not be eligible for Game of the Year because it isn't a game, it's an expansion. So that's perfectly fine. So then if you were to take away number 3 and then bring in the next one up, Hi-Fi Rush should be the one that goes up there, okay? But the point is this. 5 out of the 6 games are the exact same as the voting panel. So what Xbox tax was affected? And if you're thinking, well, what about Starfield? How far is Starfield from getting up there? I told you that it should be nowhere near Game of the Year, right? But it is on the list of things to be voted. So did Xbox, the Starfield fans show up and prove that they only wanted Starfield up there? No. It's all the way down at number 17. It is below Hi-Fi Rush, Final Fantasy 16, Lies of P, Hogwarts Legacy, Super Mario Bros. Wonder, Armored Core 6, Star Wars Jedi Survivor, Minecraft, Genshin Impact, Street Fighter 6, and finally we have Starfield. Yeah. So you see, the Xbox tax was always a lie. Because when the power was put into your hands, you also decided that Starfield did not deserve to be anywhere near the top. It's not even top 10. It's not even top 15. That's embarrassing. So listen, Xbox fans, people in general, the player's voice proves that if you thought there was some kind of conspiracy, then you owe people an apology. You owe the Virgin Pirate an apology. You owe Jeff Keighley an apology. You owe the Game Awards an apology, because 5 out of 6 games were exactly the same as what you voted. Despite all the claims otherwise, people claimed a lot about Hogwarts Legacy being snubbed. You guys put it at number 10. It is what it is. People claimed a lot about what else was it? Oh, Octopath Traveler 2, number 20. Diablo 4, number 22. It's embarrassing. So we have to we have to have an honest look at ourselves as a community and be like, most of us are full of shit. I'm sorry, most of you guys full of shit. Because when you go to vote, this is how you're voting. Those that say Liza P should be up there, you guys did good. You guys put at number 9. That's fair. Those that say Final Fantasy 16, well done. I'm really proud for those that said Hi-Fi Rush, because I truly thought that Hi-Fi Rush was one of those games that people cap a lot for, but really doesn't deserve to be there. And yet Hi-Fi Rush is actually the 6th game that makes it in, because again, Cyberpunk Phantom Liberty cannot be considered. It's an expansion to a game. It's not a full game in and of itself. So Hi-Fi Rush is actually number 6 according to the gamers. Now, this list could change up and down, but I feel like at the moment, many things, a few spots might move up and down, but I just, guys, come on. It is what it is. It is there, right? If it changes, fair enough. We'll talk about it, but that's pretty much the list as far as I'm concerned. So there you go. Now, let's take a look at some of the silly things that people have been saying in comparison to this, okay? Look at this. This person here, he says, why do you act like it's not the same ponies that sued to keep Microsoft from getting it became also voting? This is all part of your mass protest. Let's not pretend. Oh, by the way, I don't know if I had the thing on screen. Here is the list on screen for you just for a few seconds. Actually, I can leave that there while I look at the comments. Okay. Then over here, what else do we have? Over here, we have a person that's coming kind of like they're trying to be neutral. They're saying, not saying I disagree, but there are plenty of reasons why that may be the case. For example, if Starfield players all boycotted the awards due to the preconceived bias, then Starfield obviously wouldn't get as many votes, cause and effect. Okay, as unlikely as that is. Now, not going after this person, they're perfectly fine. They're just making a proposal, they're having theory. But here's the thing. Xbox fans, and there are very few Starfield fans, by the way. They are actually Xbox fans that feel slighted that the biggest game released for their platform in centuries has gotten slighted. That's really what their issue is. But Starfield fans don't really exist because people don't really like this game like that. Like, people might enjoy the game, but being a fan of something, who wants to be a fan of mediocrity, let alone garbage? So there are not that many Starfield fans. But all of that is to say, this person is wrong because Xbox fans are desperate for approval. Oh my goodness. Why is it that every single time that Xbox pulls a move, they want Sony to do the same to prove that Xbox was right in leading the pack in that direction? They are desperate for attention. Trust me. Trust me. They will never skip. They will never boycott the Game Awards. It will never happen. Okay. So who else do we have? I don't think we actually have that many crazy people coming in here. I have one person that kind of just kept going back and forth. But over here, like this guy over here, I am the Game Pro. You know, he says at some point that I should stop claiming Windows games as PlayStation. I think he's referring to Baldur's Gate 3. I have no idea why. I never said that Baldur's Gate 3 was a PlayStation games. I didn't even talk about which platform owned which game. This is not what it's about. This is all about exposing the fact that people in the community declared that there was fraud, and yet they were being fraudulent themselves because when the power was put completely in their hands, they couldn't make it. They couldn't make things any different. Okay, so anyways, that's all that I wanted to say, guys. That's it. That's all. You know, you guys have a good day. And Starfield, don't worry about it. There's no Xbox tax. There isn't. This is proof positive that there is none because we all voted almost exactly the same as the gaming panel. The only one that missed out there, I guess, was Hi-Fi Rush. That's okay. That's fine. It was a great game. I'm really proud of it, actually. Having never played it, and as a person that would probably never play it, I'm really proud that it existed because clearly the community upholds the fact that it is great. It came above Final Fantasy 16. It came above Hogwarts Legacy. It came above Lies of P. So that is a fantastic place for Hi-Fi Rush to land. So really, truly, it's a great game. And I'm glad that this proves it to me beyond the shadow of a doubt that it should be held up there as one of the best gaming experiences this year. All right. Ciao.